TIFU, and got fired over chicken nuggets. I work, or rather worked, at a fast food place. A little over 2 weeks ago, on a quiet evening at work, an old couple came in with who I assumed to be their granddaughter. They were all wearing matching knitted sweaters, and I remember thinking just how adorable they looked. They deliberated for a bit while counting the money that they had. Then the old man ordered a kid's meal. I took their order and went to prepare it myself, because we sometimes do this if it's quicker, or father gave him his order and he thanked me. They went to sit down not far from my station, and he handed the meal to the child. She offered to share her meal, but they encouraged her to finish her food by herself. They reassured her that they were not that hungry. They seemed to be content just watching her finish, and they left. I felt bad for them and looked over at my colleague who also witnessed this, and he just shrugged. The following day, they came again and ordered the same thing. I told them that they could take a sit and I'd bring the order to them. When no one was looking, I instead secretly used a bigger box and filled it to the brim with nuggets, and think it's important to point out that we are not allowed to do this. People have gotten fired before for giving their friends more food, but I did it anyway. I brought the order to them, and they were surprised to see the size of the meal compared to yesterday's. I gave them a knowing look and a smile, and they thanked me. I was just pleased to see them all eating. This went on for 2 weeks, although they did not come in every day, but I still gave them the extras whenever they would come. On Tuesday, they came in earlier, but not to wanted to thank me for helping them through a challenging couple of days. They appreciated the extra food that I gave them, because aside from the kid eating at school, that was everyone's only meal for the day. On the bright side, they were finally able to receive much needed resources, so they wanted to let me know that they won't be coming in anymore. We laughed over the fact that they actually don't like fast, told them that I'm glad that I was able to help a bit, and wished them well. When I turned around, my colleague was there, but he didn't say anything, and neither did I. Yesterday my manager wanted to speak to me. He told me that he got a tip-off that I have been stealing from the store and giving my friends extra orders. The camera footage spoke for itself, and there was also a witness. The same colleague who shrugged when that family first came in. It seemed that he was spying on me. Funny thing is, he and I both applied for the same position in the store and were waiting to hear who got it. I guess he wanted to eliminate competition, which worked, because I got fired just in time for I gave an old couple extras on their order for 2 whole weeks, and I got fired for it.
This is why I never trust coworkers anymore. I used to keep thinking that if I just got the right job, then the right coworkers would come with it. I did that for 15 years of my working life, and have learned just recently that you're always being spied on. If you can, don't let yourself become jaded. You did a good thing for those people. The right thing, in fact. You helped those people survive, and compared to the cost of corporate profits, that's zero sum, my man. You message me if you need someone to be your last boss for references.
This isn't this is wholesome. Greedy corporate to you. Kindness goes a long way. You stay the same. We need more people like will get that snitches someday.
If I was your boss, I would have at least given you the opportunity to pay for the extra food, but maybe let you off with a friendly warning.
That wasn't that was human decency, and you got fired.
You have a big heart. You will find something bigger and better.
Unfortunately, that's how corporations function, and colleagues are not your friends. You can be friendly. Some may become friends over time. I'm still friends with people I worked with 10 years ago. But almost exactly like you said, he found an easy way to eliminate the competition and ran with it regardless of why you did what you did. I mean, it's kind of a foo, but I do think you did the right thing. Sadly, usually, workplaces don't care if you did the right thing if it cost them money.
I own a restaurant. Getting fired for this is wrong on 2 levels. 1. Your manager should have a process whereby you can take care of people in this situation. We feed people for free often, and my employees are empowered to make these decisions when I'm not there, as long as they text me. 2. Firing you for caring about customers and building long-term relationships with them is just wrong on a lot of levels.
Well, obviously losing the job sucks, but you did a very good deed. Sending positive vibes in your job search, but know that you did the right thing, and don't let this outcome change that about you. Good karma will come your way.
At the end of the day, you have to look at yourself in the mirror. As long as you know you did the right thing, this won't bother you in the long term. Your coworker is a hole who's probably going to get fired from that job for forgetting a napkin or talking back to a Karen.
I am going to go against the flow here and say that you actually are
If you want to give him extra food, you should have paid for it from your pocket, or you can collect funds between your coworkers and friends, or you can just go tell your manager about this. Ask him if the restaurant would want to help these couple at almost no cost. In the future, don't do charity with other people's money.
Yeah, at my current job people know me as the quiet one because I don't talk to too many people because I don't know who I can trust. I've been fooled before, so I show up, do my thing, and leave.
100%. It's always the biggest team players who are super nice people, who are the first to dob you in for the slightest thing.
Absolutely this. So many people are just assholes for the sake of being assholes. I don't trust coworkers, and I also refuse to engage with them about any personal information. Doesn't matter what it is. Last time I told a coworker something personal, it was when I was working and was informed of a miscarriage at work. Later the same week, I heard my coworkers, and two of my managers, talking me and saying that they were glad I miscarried, because it was just a fast food place and I already had one kid and couldn't afford it. I then got pregnant again immediately afterwards, and overheard them numerous times talking about how they felt sorry for my kids. I kept working and trying to ignore it for as long as I could, but eventually I just quit because I couldn't take the talking behind my back anymore. And yes, they knew I was hearing them. They knew that I had to wait for my ride, often the father of my children, and that I often sat right in front of where they would talk about me. At one point they even made a joke about me being sorry for the rant. Got started and I'm still super hurt and bitter about it, so kind of needed to just say it.
Thank you. I really hope that the position is worth it for him.
As the person who lived off the free game prize food from McD's Monopoly game back in college, decades later you still remember the kindness of the cashier who handed me the food tickets that had been turned in that day so I could eat for the time till the first paycheck for my job came in. You did good and I hope you get a better job. If you're looking at food experience only, hospitals pay more and have better benefits and educational and promotion opportunities. One of our cafeteria folks for a degree and is a noose now.
I wish so too, but sadly he wasn't that kind of person. I just felt so bad for them. I know what it's like to not have enough to eat. I would have bought the food if I was able to.
Can confirm, while I am not in fast food, our boss will always within reason side with us that we did right by giving away free product or services if it means we made a lasting impression. Repeat customer.
I will not let this experience stop me from being kind. Fingers crossed I get one soon.
If it was a one-time thing, and they fired him over it instead of a warning, I would agree with the others. But he was doing it for weeks straight. Lol.
Name checks out.
If your work is really good then it shouldn't matter, but I've seen multiple people that don't speak much, aren't social etc. be the first to be laid off. It's easier to lay off a stranger.
What vile people. So sorry you had to go through all of that.
Jesus H, I'm sorry you had to work with such people. You deserve to work with good people who support you, and hope you find that at your current, next gig. Big hugs from my corner of the internet.
Now you can come back as a customer and F with them for as long as they remain there. A once-a-week complaint to corporate will keep them from ever getting another raise.
Go in and order a kid's meal, counting out nickels and dimes. Then look at him dead in the eye and ask, was it worth it?
You did the right, you learned 3 valuable better 4.
Greater than sadly, he wasn't that kind of person. You using the past tense makes me think you might have already taken your.
Didn't you read? They don't like fast food and won't be coming in anymore since they are in better shape financially.
You traded a minimum wage fast food job for being a decent human being. Trust me, you came out ahead.
Thank you for what you did. I was recently at Target purchasing a few things. It probably added up to $30 to $40 or so. Small amounts of food and everything else unnecessary. My card kept declining. I went through the same line multiple times to try to pay, and when it wouldn't go through I'd sit on my phone trying to figure that out so I could buy it and go home. So embarrassing. The guy at the till eventually comes up to me and says, I know it's none of my business, and offers up approximately the amount of cash I would need. It honestly made my night. Someone would be so generous to someone they didn't know. Luckily, my card just wasn't working because my bank sucks. I obviously didn't accept because I had the money, but the fact that he was willing to help is something I'm always going to remember, because there were times that would have made a massive difference. When I finally figured out my card situation. I paid and thanked him for the gesture, and he said he had been in that situation before and empathized with it. I thought about calling the store and singing his praises to a manager, but unfortunately I don't know what his managers are like, and I know some managers would give him over. Though I didn't accept the help, it still meant the world to me. Things like what you did and what he did stick with a lot of people forever. A random act of kindness when means more to that person than something to eat or anything else it could be. Even though I didn't accept, I feel a gratitude I can't describe, and there have been others when I did need it, though that's outside of the scope of this comment. I feel the same for them, and it gives me hope. I hope one day I can do the same for someone else, and I hope they do the same again later when they're better off. I hope the generosity spreads and more people are helped who then help more people. No matter who you are, life can be hard, and I'm so glad there are humans who see other humans having a hard time and reach out a helping hand.
Always steal from your job. They are stealing from you by taking the profit of your labor and giving you pennies. Secondly, good for you. Keep doing good. Don't let people like that stop you from being a good person.
That might be the most accurate name checkout ever.
And then you get to cackle maniacally at their foolishness, and watch them all scramble around with their on fire, because they didn't understand that your silence meant you were spending at least twice the time the usual person was doing actual work. So now they have 2 to 3 people's full workload they have to cover for just firing. How any of my coworkers get away with spending more than half the day on their phone or just talking and complaining about random to others, I have no idea. They get maybe one thing done each day, and take months to complete projects that should have been done in a week or 2.
Thank you for the hugs. I actually have just become a stay-at-home mum since, and now my coworker is the absolute best lol.
This is a great idea.
Have friends complain too. I think it's just, that was OP's boss, and no longer is since OP was fired. I didn't think anything of the past tense beyond that.
Here's hoping that your username is super accurate.
Not right away though. If all of a sudden they're getting complaints right after they get someone fired, it will look suspicious. Space it out.